What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day today, and I hope it gets even better from watching this video. Today we're chatting all about the let them theory. This is basically all about detachment in relationships and dating. This video is going to be for everyone. So whether you're single and you're looking to date, or you're looking for a relationship, whether you're currently dating or in a relationship, it doesn't matter, okay? So in this video, we're gonna cover it all. We're gonna go through what detachment is, how it looks like in relationships, in dating. I'm gonna give you lots of examples, exercises, like figure out why you're doing the opposite, the whole thing. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Nika, welcome. I make videos all about self-improvement, and I like to make them very like action-based. This is what you can do, a to-do list, if you will, to basically make like a legit change in your life. So if that works for you, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe and check out my social media if you want to see more of my personal life. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the hardest part of this, which is actually fully grasping what detachment is and how it looks like in a practical way, because I feel like this is one of those concepts that sometimes feels like it's hard to grasp. It's like, what even is it? I don't know. I got you, okay? The simplest way to understand detachment is to understand what the opposite of it is. The opposite of detachment is basically control. And to detach is to take this energy that you're putting into controlling your surroundings, the outcomes of things, what people are thinking, how they're acting, and it's taking that energy and putting it somewhere where it's actually going to be productive and it's going to make you a lot happier. And we're going to get into the reasons why you're doing this, because that actually really helps to like unscrew those screws that were screwed in wrong. But you guys know I love a silly little metaphor to really drive a point home, so let's do that. Okay, so let's say you moved into an amazing, beautiful house in a safe neighborhood, like it is perfect, amazing, okay? And you moved in, and instead of you now decorating this home, making it homey, cozy, gardening so that your experience is beautiful, creating new routines in your home, like really basking in this experience, you are staring out the window, making sure everything is exactly right. You're the neighborhood guard dog. You're nagging your neighbors about their lawn isn't exactly right, exactly as you want it to be. And in this silly, dramatic little metaphor, you and I can both tell that that is such a waste of time and energy, and that their whole experience and the goal that they actually want by doing this would be way easier to achieve if they just redirected that energy from nagging everyone and being the guard dog and all of that into making their home beautiful, into having beautiful routines, etc. It's a redirection of energy, and the control that this person now thinks they have by being this neighborhood guard dog is actually just an illusion. They already did what they could control, which is get a good house in a nice neighborhood, a good security system, a fence, the whole thing. The rest is actually not in their control at all. And it's a waste of time because you're gonna have to keep doing it, right? This person in this scenario is gonna have to keep controlling their neighbor, their whole neighborhood. Like, it's never ending. And you and I can both see that it is a waste of time and energy when they could just focus on what they can control, which is their beautiful house, making it amazing and having an amazing experience in the house. I hope that made sense. I really hope I didn't overcomplicate this. Whew. Okay, let's talk about what to do with this energy that you are redirecting. So you're taking it from this control into what, okay? The easiest and best place to redirect this energy is back towards yourself, because that is, first of all, what you can actually control, and it's also what's gonna make you happy. It's not a waste of your energy. You're gonna be able to see and feel the difference, and it can never be taken away from you. You can do that by working on yourself, growing, learning new things. You can start therapy, you can join a new class, start a new ritual or a new hobby, learn a new skill. An amazing place to do that is Skillshare. As you guys know, I love Skillshare so much. I've been using it for so many years, and they're actually sponsoring this video. One of my favorite classes that I'm watching for the second time now because it's so good, it's by Ali Abdal. It's called Notion Masterclass, Maximize Your Productivity and Organization. I've been building a new like Notion dashboard, so I wanted to watch it to get some ideas. So if you want to get into Notion, or if you're already using it and need some more ideas, I highly recommend this class. It's so good. If you don't know, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. They have thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. And Skillshare can help you take your career, your skills, your passions, your hobbies, or even your side hustle to the next level. If you want to work on tangibly, like redirecting this energy in a very practical way, or if you want to learn a new skill or a new hobby in the summer, I highly recommend Skillshare. If you don't know where to start, my favorite categories are entrepreneurship and productivity. I always find so many amazing classes on there. But Skillshare also has learning paths, which are basically curated collections of classes meant to be taken in order so you can really master a skill. So that's also an amazing place to start. But if you're one of the first 500 people to click on my link down below, you will actually get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So it's an amazing opportunity to try it out, see if it's for you, learn something new, try a new hobby, and level up this summer or whenever you want. So I'll have that down below. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring. And now let's get into the actual reasons of why you need this control in relationships and really cracking that, because that's going to help you so much. So a really big but very important first step is to figure out how you are being this guard dog in your relationships, in dating. What are you actually doing to try to control the situation? Literally write it down, all the ways that I'm trying to control. And you can feel the difference. You know, when people say oh, that relationship just came so easily, it was so easy. It's that lack of control. It's you're letting things flow, you're letting things actually happen. And trust me, you can feel the difference when you're pushing something, when you're controlling, and when you're letting things flow. So write down actual actions, things that you do to control in relationships, in dating. So after I go on a first date, I text them first or I call them just to make sure that we keep talking instead of actually seeing if this person even liked me and if they're gonna reach out. I take control and I need to do it. That is just one example. There are thousands and thousands, okay? So now that you have all of those practical examples of how control shows up for you in relationships and dating, you're gonna figure out why you're doing this. Why do you need that control? And there's always a reason, first of all, and most of the time, the vast majority of the time, it comes from childhood. So if you think that you're doing this because your ex-boyfriend cheated and now you're insecure or you don't trust people, you're not going far enough, okay? We're going deep, but you and I can do it. 2 questions that can really help you here to actually figure out the deep core reason why you're doing this is, what do I think will happen if I do the opposite? What do I think will happen if I actually let go? What do I think will happen if I don't text this person first to ensure that they communicate with me? The other question is, what am I making it mean? Okay, so let's do a practical example. So this scenario that I mentioned before, you go on a date and you have to text them or call them straight away so that you ensure that there is some communication. So you're gonna ask yourself, what do I think will happen if I don't actually text them and if I let the ball in their court? And then let's say the answer is, well, they might not text me back. Okay, what am I making it mean? What am I making them not texting me back mean? You might need to play this questioning game a few times to go to the core root, but you're always gonna feel it. When you get to that feeling, the core reason, you're gonna know, okay? So in this scenario, it might be, well, it's making it mean that I am not good enough, that I am not worthy, that I'm whatever. Usually it's something along those lines, okay? Because a lot of the times it comes from childhood. As I said, it comes from a place where you felt like you weren't important enough, like your interests weren't important. Maybe there was a parent who wasn't present, or maybe they didn't have a lot of time for you. They didn't seem to care that much about you. Usually that is where anxious attachment, which is a lot of what we're talking about today, comes from. We can talk more about attachment styles in another video, but an amazing book that you can read is called Detached. I have all the books that I recommend in my Amazon storefront. I'll link it down below. So when you figure that out, it really unties that knot in your brain. An awareness of a problem is a problem half solved, okay? When you have that aha moment, this is why I actually do this, it really shifts something. And if you've had those moments before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It makes a big difference already. And then the rest of it is just your actions following through with this aha moment, okay? Honoring this aha moment. So let's talk about that. So the practice that you're going to become obsessed with, okay, this is going to be your new personality, is to redirect that energy. So when you feel yourself controlling the other person or the outcome of what you're doing together or whatever the case may be, you're going to take that control and you're going to pour it back into yourself. And you're going to let them show you who they actually are. You're going to let them show you who they are and what they're going to do without your constant input, your constant control. Wouldn't you want to know who this person actually is? If you're actually compatible, if they're actually capable of being a partner that you want, wouldn't you want to know that? Like, especially if you're just dating, wouldn't you want to know who you're actually committing to, who you're actually choosing? So take your foot off the gas pedal, take your dirty little fingers off the control buttons and let them show you, and redirect that energy that you would be wasting. Trust me, waste so much energy wasted. You're gonna pour it back into yourself. If you in the moment don't know what to do with this redirected energy, when you realize you're pouring it outwardly, trying to control, and you wanna pull it back in, if you don't know what to do in the moment, you can ask yourself, what would someone who loves themselves do right now? And then you're gonna follow through with what the answer is. Usually the first answer is like the real one, the right one. This really, really easy practice question is so helpful because sometimes when you want to redirect that energy, you don't know what to do with yourself. So this is a very, very simple, amazing hack. I'm not here to sit and lie to you and say this is always easy. The reason why this is not always easy is because it takes self-worth. It takes fully understanding that you don't need to bend things, situations, people, yourself in order to get love, and that you're actually worthy of love just the way that you are. And I know that sounds very cheesy, but it's the truth. I have a whole playlist about self-worth and confidence. I'll link it down below if you want to really dive into this topic and if that's how you want to redirect your energy. But I believe that we all have the same amount of self-worth. Like, we're all born with it. It can't be taken away. Like, we've all got it. It's always there. You just need to look for it and find it. So as I've hammered in about 10 billion times in this video, detachment is taking that energy you would put into controlling other people, putting it back into yourself. And that means really working on yourself, like growing, learning, having things to do, creating a beautiful life you're excited to wake up to. Like, that can be felt, okay? A lot of the times when girlies watch these kinds of videos about self-worth, self-respect, detachment, whatever, they go around and they're telling people, you know, I deserve respect and I have self-worth and I'm this and I'm a queen and I'm that. Like, true confidence, self-worth, self-respect, and the way to actually practice detachment in a real way is you don't have to say this to anyone. Like, people trust and believe, people can feel it. People can see in the way that you move, in the way that you live your life. They can tell, okay? So detachment is you not sitting there after 3 dates, cussing someone out in an essay because they disrespected you and you deserve better. That is not what detachment actually looks like. That is not even what self-respect looks like. First of all, after 3 days, you don't know that person. You don't owe each other anything. And with that person doing whatever caused this essay, whether they didn't reply or they didn't ask you on another date, they showed you who they are and what they want and what their intentions are. It's clear as day. You don't need to explain anything to them. You let them show you and they showed you, okay? Now you need to believe them and move on with the reality you are currently in, which is this person, for whatever reason, does not want you, or maybe they don't want to give you the amount of time and energy that you think you deserve, and then you move on. I genuinely don't remember the last time I had to explain to someone that I have self-worth and I deserve basic respect. Like, that those words have not left my mouth, or my fingers have not typed those messages in many, many years, because I carry myself in that way. I live my life that way. And if I have the need to explain it to someone, I know it's clear as day that that person is not for me. They are not meant to be in my life, okay? I will not allow them to be in my life. So again, you don't need to communicate to someone, oh, I actually have self-worth, I have self-respect, I have a lot of confidence, I will not be treated XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Show people through the way you carry yourself, through the kind of life you have, through what you put your energy into, and then let them show you who they actually are. That's where detachment comes from. You're controlling what you can, which is yourself and how you live your life and what you do with your time and energy. And then you let them, you detach, you let them show you what they've got, like who they are, if you want them in your life, and then you can decide if you actually do. Another thing detachment is not, which applies to relationships as well, is being cold, being super like disinterested, giving them the silent treatment, like that kind of behavior. That is not detachment. Detachment is not you silently punishing them. It's not passive aggressiveness, okay? Not at all. Detachment is actually very loving when you break it down. It's you letting someone be who they are, not trying to mold, control them to be the way that you want them to be. Imagine the opposite. Like, imagine you're with someone who's constantly controlling, manipulating, trying to bend and mold you in this relationship to be what they want. Like, obviously you're not going to feel loved. At no point is that loving behavior. The way this shows up in committed or like long-term relationships, if you're a woman, is that you're nagging, you're controlling, you're manipulating. We as women are very good at that, okay? And we don't like to admit that, but we really are. It's very toxic, okay? We talk a lot about toxic masculinity. That is toxic femininity, okay? We can make a whole video about that. Let me know if you want to, because I would love nothing more. It also shows up as mothering, like you constantly correcting them, telling them what to do, acting like they don't know anything, as if they're a little child. It's also clinginess, because a lot of the time when we cling on to someone, it's because we want to really grasp for that love, because we think otherwise it's going to go away. Those are some examples of what is the opposite of detachment in long-term relationships. It's very popular at the moment to, go on and on about how men are toxic and how it's all their fault. And sure, a lot of men are toxic. There are a lot of toxic masculine traits. I completely agree, okay? We're on the same page here, girly. But in relationships, we can be just as toxic, okay? And there is a time and a place when you need to sit down with yourself. If you're not happy in your situation, look at yourself clearly in the mirror and be like, I co-created the situation. I'm an active participant. Like, this is not just his fault. This is not just men's fault. And I get how we get there mentally, because it's easier to control someone else instead of look inwards and actually do some real changes for ourselves. But also when you get into a loop of nagging, controlling, mothering, you get to a point where you're a lot of the time doing a lot of like household chores, taking care of the kids. Like, you take on so much more, and it's hard to then be like, he's equally at fault. But you co-created this relationship, okay? It's time to take part of the responsibility. I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I love women empowering other women, but I also want to empower you through being real with you, okay? Write down the ways you nag, you control, you mother. Seriously, do it. Like, the best way to see your behavior is literally to write it down and be like, this is what this tangibly looks like. This is what I'm actually doing. And then it's going to be so much easier for you to notice it and be like, okay, this is me mothering, nagging, controlling, whatever. What do we need to do? Let go, detach, redirect the energy, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And of course, this takes time. Like, it takes time to shift a relationship dynamic, especially if it's been in place for a long time. So give yourself like 3 months to try it out, to really work on this, practice it. And you might also need to find some creative ways to fix some of these issues. Like, you and your partner are a team. Act like it. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and I consciously decided when I was a child that I will never fight about household chores. I watched it growing up all the time, and I just remember being like, this is literally the stupidest thing ever. We could sit down and fix this in an hour and write a list of who's responsible for what, and we would be able to fix this all. And I vowed to myself that I would not do that in my relationship, and I do not. First of all, I chose someone who actually knows how to be an adult and take care of themselves, which the majority of men know how to do, okay? Do you think he wouldn't survive if he moved out on his own? Come on, he's not a child. He would figure it out, okay? So stop doing everything for him. Let go, detach a little, focus on yourself, redirect that energy. And also, don't be so critical. Like, certain things, does it really matter how he puts dishes in the dishwasher? Like, in the grand scheme of things, does it actually matter? I don't particularly love the way my boyfriend makes the bed, but if he does it, I'm gonna be happy that he did it. Like, I'm not gonna go and fix it. It's okay the way it is. I literally don't care that much. Like, it's not enough for me to start ruining my relationship over. It literally does not matter. So this is obviously going to depend on your situation, your relationship. When you kind of let go of that control and you stop nagging and judging the things that he is actually doing. And then for some things you might have to sit down and be like, let's figure out a solution. Okay, I don't want to fight about this. It's draining. It's literally not, it doesn't work for either one of us. So let's figure out a solution. You're a team. It's honestly not fun to be nagged on, whatever the correct word is, all the time. To deal with someone who's constantly judgmental, doesn't actually appreciate what you did do because it's not done exactly as they wanted you to do it. No one wants to live like that. Like, it's not fun, okay? So we as women need to do a little bit better, and that is something we need to work on if you actually want like a healthy, happy relationship. And a lot of the time we kind of kick ourselves in the foot because we put ourselves in this situation. We're naturally nurturing, loving, so we want to do things for the person that we're in love with, but no woman actually wants to be loved for the things that she does in the house. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? If my boyfriend was going around and saying like, oh, I love Nika because she keeps the apartment clean and she does the dishes so well and she does that, I would be like, excuse me, sir. Do you know who men feel that way towards? Their moms, okay? I do not want to be anyone's mother except for my own children. So take your foot off the gas, redirect that energy back to yourself. And when you do that, you're so much happier because again, you're focusing on yourself, you're refilling your own cup. And with that, you're bringing like that happiness, that lightness, that joy into a relationship, which is attractive. Like we all want to be attractive to our partners, even if it's been years, and we want to be chaste and we want to feel beautiful and loved and all of that. And you nagging, mothering, controlling, doing everything at home is not going to do that for you, okay? It's really not. I'm so sorry to tell you, but it's not going to actually give you what you want, like what you deep down want. It's not. An additional little component here that's also very important is that you actually showcase gratitude for the things that your partner does do for who they actually are, because you chose them for a reason, I would assume. I would assume you're with them because you fell in love or you thought they're, you know, a worthy partner to be with and you want to build a life with them. Remind yourself of those things and like be grateful for who they are and for what they do for you or what they do for your relationship, your family, whatever, and express that to him. Like that's how you kind of shift that energy. Alrighty guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Let me know if you want me to go more into detail about any of these topics or if you have any questions, and maybe we can do a little story Q&A on Instagram or a whole new video, whatever you want. If you like this video and if you want to stick around, make sure to subscribe and check out my social media if you want to see more of my personal life. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to see you very, very soon. Bye.